One of them, as I said, it's this infrastructure. If you don't have base, if you don't have electricity, what are you doing, right? So that's important. And then, of course, I think we need to agree as African countries how we harmonize to be able to trade with one another. Okay. I mean, I don't think it requires one currency, but certainly it requires harmonized payment systems so that it's not complicated for me to pay somebody in another country. Right. This is very, very important. Mm-hmm. So I think that the African Development Bank can play a role in supporting that evolution of Africa to increasing its productivity through trade with one another, through intra-regional trade, by making sure that that basic infrastructure is in place.
All right. Scaling infrastructure as the foundation for transformation. Exactly. Number one, unlocking private sector growth and financial innovation. Number two, high-performance African Development Bank. Number three, perhaps one of the biggest, what you would call strategies, or maybe the pillars exactly. of your plan for the African Development Bank. And I see this largely touch on the concerns that you have raised. Exactly. You have served under Dr. Adesina. Yes. You have served the African Development Bank in different capacities, or in a capacity very critical. Yeah. Why do you suppose that we have not achieved this? And what makes you think you would be the right person then to address these matters correctly within, say, 5 years? And then luckily, if you're to go for 2 terms, then another 5 years, and that we can speak of, you know, getting strict and perhaps in line with Agenda 2063.
And I'm glad you mentioned Agenda 2063, because that's the foundational ambition for Africa. That's the foundational vision of Africa. We don't need a new one. Mm-hmm. That vision is very good and articulate and agreed, most importantly, by all African countries. So this is important. So what I think that the African Development Bank needs to calibrate in its approach is to be a little bit more selective. I think that over the years we've tended to be more dispersed in all the different things that we do, and we understand, you know, a lot of countries want different things, a lot of countries ask for different types of support, but our impact should really be towards making sure that we allow Africa to take a step up when it comes to its productive capacity. And you do that by making sure that that basic infrastructure is in place. The second part of the pillars of my vision is around the financial innovation. As you said, you noted yourself that the traditional financiers of development, all of them are crying that they don't have the resources. Our own governments have fiscal constraints, so they're not able to do what they need to do. So it's very, very important that we are able to innovate on how we mobilize financing from institutional investors or countries with surplus savings that can be deployed for Africa and for, you know, for good returns in Africa.